Hey everyone, welcome back to Homegrown Passion. Well, the other day I decided to do inventory in my chest freezer because I haven't done that for a while. You know how things always get down to the bottom there. So I found 2 pork butts, I found a bunch of bones, and so I'm going to make some Italian sausage and some bone broth. And then I'm also going to show you what I do with my extra eggs. So stay tuned. So the bones that I found in the freezer, I found some oxtail, I found some pork neck bones, and I found some beef soup bones. And if you've never made bone broth before, it is so easy, you really need to do it because all the flavors really make your homemade recipes pop. So what I've read about bone broth is back in the day, it was actually served as a drink because it's packed with so many vitamins and minerals, amino acids and collagen. It just, makes your skin glow, it helps your joints, it gives you extra energy and fulfills all the nutrient deficiencies that you may have. So my farm-to-table bone broth starts with roasting the bones, and I put them in the oven about 375 for a couple hours. And remember, all the bones are from my animals here from the farm. There's no antibiotics, there's no hormones in them. They're just all natural grass-fed animals. Okay. So once the bones are roasted, I put them into my large pot, and I add a lot of vegetables I do grow here on the farm, like carrots and celery and onions. And then I add spices that I also grow in the greenhouse, which is my rosemary and thyme. And then I let it simmer for at least 24 hours because you want the broth to pick up all those flavors and just get a really deep, rich flavor. I didn't film roasting the bones or filling up the pot and putting all the vegetables in here because, that's kind of boring. So I do have the end product right here in front of me that had been boiling and simmering for 36 hours on my stove. So my next step is to remove the bones out of the broth without making a mess because I love to make messes. So let me see if I can scoop some of these guys out of here. And get all the vegetables because you don't want to can all that. Then after I get all of the vegetables and the bones out, I'm going to chill this back down again because I want all the fat to come up to the top so I can remove it before I heat it back up again and strain it through a cheesecloth. And then it's ready to go in the refrigerator, which will last a month or so, or you can can it and that'll last up to 6 months. And it depends how much I make here if I'm going to can it or put it in the fridge because we do use a lot of this in our recipes. Oh, it smells so good. Forgot to tell you guys about an extra step I like to do here. I get all the stuff out of the main broth and there's always a bunch left over here. So I'm going to get the dry stuff out and try to strain it a little bit more because you want every drop you can get. Well, got all of the bones and vegetables out of there, double drained it, and got a bunch more broth. Pour it in here. Going to put it in the cooler and let it cool down and let the fat rise. So I think I'm going to end the segment here because the rest of it's kind of boring. Going to let the fat rise up, scoop it off. Then I'm going to put it through some cheesecloths in my strainer here and get it ready to put in the refrigerator for our use. It's so easy to make your homemade bone broth that I would highly recommend doing it. Go to your butcher or your local farmer and get some bones because if you've ever read the ingredients on what you buy at the store, there's so much sodium in it and so much preservatives. Here you know exactly what you're putting in there and it's all natural. Well, you all know I have my laying hens, my ladies, and this winter they've been laying like crazy. I make sure that they always have fresh water. I check on them a couple times a day. I give them a nice high quality feed. It's all organic, and I also give them leftovers from the greenhouse, so they get any leftover lettuce or spinach and the ends of the microgreens, so they're really producing well for me. So every day I go out there in the morning, and they surprise me with 6 eggs. So I'm thinking, what else can I make with eggs? Because you can only eat so many of them, and I know Kian, our dog, he gets an egg every once in a while too. So I decided I'm going to start making mayonnaise again, because I haven't done it for a long time. So that's what I'm going to do, make some mayonnaise. Making homemade mayonnaise is so easy and it's so much better for you than buying the stuff in the store. Because if you look at the ingredients, there's a lot of preservatives and different chemicals and stuff that I don't even know what they are. So I'd rather make our own. And I have all my ingredients laid out here and nice and simple and easy to do. One of the most important things I found out about cooking all these years is your mise en place, which is French, and it means having your ingredients measured and ready to put into your recipe so you don't have to go back and forth. So let's go over my ingredients. First one is the egg. A lot of recipes call to separate the egg and the yolk and all that stuff. I don't do that. I use the whole egg. Just want to make sure it's at room temperature. The next I do is some salt with a little bit of garlic powder, lemon juice, white wine vinegar, avocado oil, because I like the taste of avocado oil. And then I also put a dab of Dijon mustard in there to give it a little zing. First thing is get the egg in there without any eggshells. Then I'm going to put the salt in, the lemon juice, the white wine vinegar, and last but not least is the avocado oil. Now this you want to pour in nice and slowly. And once you get this all together, you're going to want to let it sit for a minute or so. Okay, I'll let this rest for a minute and then we'll get the immersion blender. I have my immersion blender. The oil has settled, so I'm going to put it in, and you have to make sure the immersion blender goes right over the egg yolk. And then I do it on low and let it sit for about 10 seconds until it starts emulsifying. Look how easy that was. Didn't take any time at all. Look at that. And it tastes amazing. So let me get all this goodness off the blender here. Get it all inside the jar. And I'm going to put a lid on it. And it'll last in your refrigerator for 2 to 3 weeks, but won't last that long here. So I thought I'd bring into my kitchen today because yesterday I decided to clean out my chest freezer, because everybody knows how chest freezers are. Things get to the bottom and you have no idea what is in there. And so I was cleaning it out, getting ready for a butchering of a steer this spring. And I found 2 pork butts, and I thought, oh, I can make some hot Italian sausage. So that's what I'm doing. So I got our grinder out here. We've had this thing, I don't know how many years, it's pretty old, but we have an attachment here for the grinding and to do the sausage stuffing, and we also have the attachment for it, so we want to make spaghetti sauce and paste in that. So it's pretty versatile, really good machine. And it's got the different cutter things here, the discs and that. So what I did with my sausage, I cut it up, ground it once, put it in a bin, got all my seasonings together, the oregano, the cayenne pepper, the pepper flakes, a little bit of salt and pepper, and all the different things. I followed a recipe I found online that's really good. And I just spiced it up a little bit more with the extra pepper flakes and the cayenne to make it a little bit hotter, because that's how we like it. Folded it all together, ground it one more time, took it out and got it cold. Luckily it's nice and cold out right now, so I stuck it out in the garage. Got it cold again, and now I'm grinding it the 3rd time, and then I'm stuffing it into the not collagen, but the natural casings here. We always like to use natural casings because they have a much better texture and a much better flavor and feel to them than the collagen ones. So next thing I'm going to do is cut this up, put it into some spaghetti sauce, or I'm going to do my favorite hot Italian sausage sandwiches. Here's my final product. As you can see, I ran out of casings, so I can always use some bulk hot Italian sausage for my spaghetti sauces. So I'm going to get these guys ready to vacuum pack, and we'll put them in the freezer. I have my vacuum packer out here, and I got the links already vacuum packed. We like to do that for most of our meats that we put away in the freezer so they last a lot longer. And of course I'm going to put the date and what it is, because nothing more frustrating than pulling something out of the freezer and it's a mystery of what it is. So then I'm going to finish vacuum packing this guy here. does a pretty good job. There it goes to seal it. Wait for all the little warning lights to go on and off. Okay, take this guy out. Let's see. And what I like to do so they store better in the freezer is kind of flatten them out. Because nothing worse than trying to put round balls in a freezer and have everything fall out on you. So that's how I do my bulk. So I'll get the rest of this vacuumed and then it's time to clean up, and that's going to be it for the sausage this year. Well, it's lunchtime and I'm going to make myself my favorite sandwich. I'm going to use the mayo we just made, a tomato from the greenhouse, a cucumber from the greenhouse, and an onion. I know it kind of sounds weird, but with a little salt and pepper on that, oh, best sandwich ever. So if you like my videos, please subscribe. And like always, please leave me any questions, comments, and suggestions down below, and we'll see you guys next time.